Good everyone. We will now call the Beaufort County Board of Education business meeting of January 4, 2022 to order. This meeting is being conducted by a hybrid video conferencing and it is also being live streamed by the county channel. Capacity in the school district media center is limited to 60 individuals. In order to comply with social distancing requirements, the individuals must stay at least 3 feet apart and speak on a first-time basis. We do not have any public comments submitted between 5 and 5:30, but there will be another session for submission between 6 and 6:30. Please send your request for public comments to Robin, and that's with a Y, .Cushingberry@beaufort.k12.fc.us. Please have included your email, your name, phone number, and topic that you would like to comment on before the board. You'll receive a phone call during public comments where you'll be able to speak and address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes on issues within the board domain, and the forum will be limited to 15 minutes because it will be the second. And if you're in person, you may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes on issues within the board's domain. And each speaker must fill out a public comment card, and please see the board clerk for a card. In the event the board has not finished addressing all items listed in the January 4, 2022 agenda, the board will reconvene at 6 p.m. on January 5th, 2022, the next business day to finish the agenda items. So we now need a motion to approve the agenda. Ms. Robach?
I move we approve the agenda.
Ms. Boatright?
Second.
All right, any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of approving tonight's agenda, you can raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please raise your hand and say nay. The agenda is approved unanimously. We will now stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. We will have a moment of silence. The media has been properly notified. Our first public comments. Can't see beyond the podium. We have one person sitting there. Are they?
That's Mr. Judge Grimsley.
Oh, great. Okay. Welcome, Judge Grimsley. I just saw your shoe. Nothing else. And we did not receive any public comments electronically. So the next item on the agenda is the chairman's report. Having completed my commitment as board chair, leading the Board of Education since 2019, I'm ready to step aside this year and contribute to the success and decision-making of the board in a different role. Highlights of the board's accomplishments in the past 3 years include hiring our current highly effective superintendent, garnering overwhelming voter support for the largest ever school bond referendum in Beaufort County, and navigating the unprecedented challenge of educating our students during the pandemic. I want to sincerely thank the board members for their dedication, input, and collaboration as we met and decided on the important issues for improving education for all students in our county. It has been a pleasure to serve as board chair with you as my colleagues and under the leadership of interim superintendent Dr. Herberg and current superintendent Dr. Frank Rodriguez. Thank you. I'm honored and thank you. I was not expecting that at all. So next we have the superintendent's report on COVID-19 update. Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Dr. Gloss. Can you hear me? Thank you, Dr. Gloss. I appreciate it. This evening on the COVID-19 update, as we get ready to return students to school tomorrow, I want to share with you that as of this morning, we had 9 staff and 14 students that tested positive information we have thus far. I want to share with you information because over the break and holiday, CDC released information, DHEC released additional information, and so I want to share with you. I prepared a letter that we sent to families today, and we sent to employees today. So we're going to go ahead and share that information with you as well. And it says that South Carolina DHEC has issued new requirements that reduce the length of time for COVID-19 isolation and quarantine. Beaufort County School District is required by law to follow DHEC's requirement. And we have updated our processes effective immediately and for the opening of school on Wednesday, January 5th. For students and staff who test positive for COVID-19, the isolation period has been reduced from 10 days to 5 days. If there are no symptoms or symptoms have improved, DHEC requires students to wear a mask for days 6 to 10 when they return to school. Students and staff who do not choose to wear a mask for days 6 through 10 would then not choose to wear a mask for days 6 through 10 when they return to school. Then students and staff would then have to remain 6 through 10 at home. To finish out the quarantine. In addition, students and staff must provide a parent note confirming that symptoms have improved and that there has been no fever in the past 24 hours without using fever-reducing medication. Parents should send the note to the school with the student. For students and staff who are vaccinated or have tested positive in the last 90 days and are considered a close contact, they do not have to quarantine unless they become symptomatic. For students and staff who are exposed to someone who has tested positive for COVID-19 and who are not vaccinated, the minimum quarantine period has been reduced to 5 days. Quarantine can end after day 5 if the viral test is negative and if no symptoms were present during the quarantine period. The PCR or antigen test must be collected no sooner than day 4. At-home tests will not be accepted, and regardless of vaccination status, DHEC now requires a mask to be worn by exposed students through day 10 when they return to school. Students and staff who do not choose to wear a mask in day 10 at school and indoors will be required to remain home to finish out their quarantine. DHEC recommends that exposed students and staff get tested on day 5 as well. For students and staff who are currently excluded from school based on the previous DHEC quarantine and isolation requirements, updated guidance is being issued individually if applicable to them. And with respect to students who are isolating or quarantined, we continue to provide dual modality instructions for those students. That concludes COVID-19.
Dr. Rosinski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a brief suggestion or question. One of the things that I was hearing from some after this new guidance came out and then the district also issued how they want to proceed with it was that it was difficult to understand all the new rules and changes. So my suggestion was just be an infographic or something that we can get out there that kind of puts it in a very quarantine for dummies kind of way, so that everybody kind of knows what the expectations are.
Yeah, I can appreciate that remark because as we received the guidance from DHEC and we muddled through all that information as well, You know, this is probably the 7th, 8th, or 9th iteration of it to get it as clear as we can get to it with all the complexities of it. So we'll work on that. That's a good thing.
Thank you.
Ingrid Bowen?
Thank you. And just to clarify, if you've had a proof of a positive COVID infection in the last 90 days, you are considered in the same status as a vaccinated student or staff member, is that correct?
That's correct. That did not.
Okay, there'll be no further hands up. Okay. We go on to board business action with the election of the officers. So we have the public, joining us on this meeting. I'll just review the election process for the public. So any board member may nominate the candidates for a position as board officer. We have 3 positions: chair, vice chair, and secretary. A second is required for the nomination to be valid, and the ballot is comprised of all nominated candidates. We normally start with the chair, and then do the vice chair, and then do the secretary. Since we have all 11 members present tonight, 6 votes are necessary to win the election. We have a way to resolve that there's multiple candidates and nobody gets 6 votes on the first round. There's a way to resolve that, and that's well outlined in our governance policy. The election of board officers is by a show of hands. The board officers are elected for a 1-year term and serve until the successor is elected and assumes the office. We are having the election at the first meeting of the year. And in the event of a resignation or circumstances that are a majority opinion prevents an officer of the board from carrying out his or her duties, the board will hold a special election to fill that position for the remainder of the original term. And board officers can be removed at a regularly called board meeting by a motion seconded and an affirmative 2/3 vote. So tonight here we have joining us, and pleased to announce Judge Grimsley, and we thank you and appreciate your attendance tonight to run our election.
Okay, well, Madam Chairman, you outlined the process very succinctly and I think it's correct. So I'll open the nominations for the position of chair. Yes, sir.
Chair, it's my honor to nominate Chair David Stream.
Second to that?
I second that.
Very good. All right. Any other nominations? Being none, is there a motion to close the nominations?
I'm
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here to close nominations.
Is there a second to that question? All in favor? Show of hands, please. Okay. Mr. Scriber, it looks like you are elected by acclamation. This is way too easy. All right, well, now the nominations for the position of vice chair. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to nominate Kathy Rowline as vice chair.
Are there any other nominations? Yes, sir. Very good. Are there any other nominations? I'm sorry, is there a second to that nomination? Oh, no second. Okay, there being no second, the nomination fails, so we're back to one candidate. Are there any further nominations? So motion to close the nominations. Yes, ma'am.
I move that we close the nomination of vice chair.
Second. All in favor? Very good. It looks like we now have a vice chair. Okay. Okay, so the last position is secretary. Yes, ma'am.
It is my honor to nominate Angela Middleton.
Is there a second to that?
I second that.
Need a second? Are there any other nominations? Motion to close the nominations for secretary. Yes, ma'am.
I move to close the nominations for secretary.
Second? For second? Yes, sir. All in favor? Okay, it looks like we have a chairman, a vice chair, and a secretary. I think that completes the nomination, excuse me, the election of the office, and congratulations to those who will be taking the help. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you kindly.
Is there anything else you need?
I'll let our new chair.
New chair, Bill.
No, sir, thank you. We really do appreciate you coming here. And we know you do this gratis. Public service, everybody needs to know that.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I have practice. All right, I can do it. I do want to take just a moment to thank Dr. Wise for the 3 years of service, 3 years that relentlessly tested her composure, but she didn't break. I think we all admire that. Thank you. All right, our next item is approval of the board meeting calendar. We don't have about 3 weeks to look at it. Are there any changes?
I move that we accept the calendar as drafted before us.
I'll second her first motion in 3 years.
Every motion seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no hands, call for a vote. Just signify by raising your hand. All in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, our next thing is future agenda topics. I do think we have a little bit of backlog from our last meeting.
We only have, I know, as you now realize, we have a lot already on the agenda for the next meeting of January 18th. But if somebody wanted to have a topic suggestion later on.
Okay, setting on, announcements. Does anyone have any announcements?
I'm sorry, I froze my electronic meeting. I don't know what's on the forthcoming agenda, but is the topic of committee assignments? Are we redoing committees? Usually after the first of the year, those are open, so I just wanted to bring that up.
Yes, ma'am, that's a good point. And I think that we do that in the parents report. But I would need everyone to let me know what committees they would like to be on. You know, a lot of committees. But they are important. So you need folks to step up. So if you get those to me in the next week or two, that'd be great. Yeah, second public comments. No, second public comments.
No, sir.
Thank you. I just, in terms of an announcement, I just want to, first of all, congratulate board officers. I want to thank all board officers that served in this past time as well. And I want to take the opportunity to make sure that I welcome back all of our students and our staff tomorrow into a regular school day. We're excited to have them back and to see our kids again. I hope everybody had a wonderful break. And we know that we've got challenges ahead, but we will work through those as we always have. And I just want them all to know how much I appreciate them. We look forward to the upcoming semester.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that, Dr. Rodriguez. Well said. Also, just want to let the board members know that the clock meetings will now be changed to the second Wednesday of the month, okay? It has been changed on the Outlook calendar for those of you that might have already transcribed it under this. Clock is now going to be the second Wednesday of the month.
Further business, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second. I'm sure we got a third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Thank you.